Hey everybody, welcome back to my Let's Talk About video on the Scoob movie, which is coming to theatres May the 15th. So I've been wanting to do this video for a while. I had it planned for last year, but not a lot of information came out about it because I wanted to wait till there's a trailer or two or any sneak peeks before I made my initial video, because I didn't have time to do a part 2 like I did with the Return of Zombie Island one. So I took it to me till now, where it's 2 months before the movie comes out, because we just saw the final trailer. So now I'm comfortable doing the Let's Talk About video, so I've seen all the information. So before we delve straight into it, I want to take you back in the past. So let's go back in time to 2014. So back in 2014, there was a Tumblr post which announced their suspicion of a new Scooby-Doo movie coming to theatres, and at the time we just thought it was gossip. Like, we understand that Scooby-Doo's been going on for so long now, for 50 plus years, and they always do their direct-to-video movies, which I do a ton of unboxing videos for. So we weren't really believing the theatrical release of a theatre movie because it's just been so long since it's been done. We've seen the two greatest Scooby-Doo live-action movies of our time, and those in cinema were great. And then we saw the sequels, or the prequels, that came afterwards, direct-to-video, and those didn't do so well. We even saw Daphne and Velma on live action direct to video, and that wasn't really that great. The story and aspect of what they were trying to do was a great novelty, but again, on a low budget, it wasn't going to hit well. Maybe Warner Bros. Released that as a test run to see whether a live action would be to the public's eye. And a lot of people, like myself and majority of other people, disliked the movie, but I disliked it on the fact that it was a low budget, that if it was an animation, it could have been something. Years have gone by, we didn't really hear much about it. Then 2019 came, or was about 2018, midst of one of those two, that we finally got the announcement for the Scoob being verified by Warner Bros. Themselves, and it was being made as an animation movie that's going to be in theatres, which was great. You know, all that suspense from 2014 to the point where it was delayed so many times, to the point where people just thought that it was just gone, like it was never going to be made. And that rumor was like, okay, it's just got delayed now, it's never going to happen. And now it's like 2020 and we got the release date and we got the name of it, we know it's an animation. So it just brings up to this moment, like, we're so nervously and pumped for it at the same time. It's like, this is their moment to make Scooby-Doo back on the big screens, literally on the big screens in 4K, as an animation, which is perfect because this is what we've been waiting for a long time. But at the time, in 2014, we were nervous and skeptical because we didn't know whether it was going to be a live-action failure or just like something new with a new entire cast. And for the majority of us, we did want to see a high-budget live-action one, because that just like brings Scooby-Doo into the real world a bit more. But as we know, actors get older and they don't want to do the same role anymore, and it just becomes one of those films where they can't get the cast to reoccur for a new one. A bit like Scooby-Doo Monsters Unleashed. Like, the entire cast didn't want to come back for a third movie, so they dropped it. And instead, later on down the line, we had prequels, which were terrible, and they were direct-to-video for a reason, because they were low budget. Mystery Begins and Curse of the Lake Monster. Then, as years went on, in 2018, we had Daphne and Velma, which was a failure but also a success at the same time because it was a low budget, but they had the quite good idea of making their own universe out of it, where they didn't meet for the first time and they were just coming together and fold. And at the end of the movie we saw a sneak peek, well, not a proper sneak peek, but we saw a glance at the team joining together. So they had the idea, but the movie was a flop. So what this animation movie is going to be doing, they call it SCOOB, and it's part of the Hanna-Barbera Cinematic Universe, or HCU, which is a bit like what Marvel did with the Avengers series, where we had Thor, Iron Man, Hulk, Captain America, all joined together for the Avenger movies, all part of the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So what Hanna-Barbera are doing is doing their own. You've got to understand, the Hanna-Barbera universe is so big, it has so many shows that most people don't even remember. So we got the Flintstones, we got Captain Caveman, we got the Wacky Racers, Scooby-Doo in general, I think it was Hong Kong Phooey. These just like, did I say Blue Falcon? I don't know if I did or not. But yeah, we have all these shown in the Hanna-Barbera universe, and what they're essentially trying to do is make their own climax from it. Like, they're all being joining together and have their own shows being rebirthed. And the best way to do that is with SCOOB, because it has so much high potential. It's just that thing on point. It just has something with the community. Like, everyone knows Scooby-Doo. New generations can adapt to Scooby-Doo because they release new reboot shows each year nearly, and it just has that connection with kids and family. Like, you can sit down with your nephew or your sons and you can both watch Scooby-Doo and you can still enjoy it from both aspects. Like, I remember watching this as a show, they're going to have that fond memories as well, and it keeps the cycle going. So starting the Hanna-Barbera universe off with SCOOB is the best plotting point ever, but it's like, how could they execute it? Like, what are they going to do? What's the animation going to look like? So a long time, from 2014 to 2019, we didn't really know any idea what the cast were going to look like. We didn't know who was going to be the voice actors. We thought it was going to be the voice actors from the actual Scooby-Doo animated direct-to-video movies that we all know and love. But when it did get announced, only Frank Welker was only going to come back as Scooby-Doo. He wasn't going to do his role as Fred. No, they only got him back. Matthew Lennard and all the others, they didn't get asked to be the cast of the show, and nobody knew why. I was like, why change the cast up when you know these people are brilliant as voice actors for the show already? Like, they're already the face of the icon. They're already on everyone's mind. Like, people know their voice. So instead, we got these new actors like Zac Efron playing Fred, Mark Wahlberg playing the Blue Falcon. And it's like, in a way, it's been a long time since I've seen the Blue Falcon, so Mark Wahlberg, from the trailers I've seen, he can pull it off. And Zac Efron, it's so hard to notice him as Fred, not in a bad way, in a sense, but it reminds me of High School Musical. It just doesn't really have that Fred vibe going. So yeah, it's a lot of these stuff that gets put into your mind, like, why change the cast? Why try and change it up? But they're trying to get these new casts, like these hot celebrities, to boost the sales of them, like, so they can just like promote it as well, which in a sense is great. But it's like, are they going to be recurring in the future updates, or is this going to be a one-off and you got to get all the new cast in? Like, it's so hard to tell until the years go by. But at the same time, I'm nervous. It's kind of that mixed feeling. You don't know whether it's going to be a good or bad film unless you see it. And then the potential that it's going to have when it evolves, like what other shows are going to syndicate from it, and what would this mean for Scooby-Doo in general? Like, is Scooby-Doo going to transform and we're going to have our own series connected into that universe? So we have the movie aspects, but are we going to have the movie aspect in our own mini-series so we can see the films develop? Or is the Scoob going to have their own separate movie where it's just them and not anyone else? It's like all that knowledge you've got to anticipate, but it's all down to just one movie. If SCOOB does well, then it's a high potential, and it's bringing Hanna-Barbera back to every household. Because right now it's just Scooby-Doo holding it together in a way. Like, we haven't seen a Captain Caveman reruns in years, but now there's movies coming up. Captain Caveman is just on point everywhere. Like, even I bought the incomplete series to rewatch it, and I didn't even think about getting it until this movie dropped. I didn't forget about Captain Caveman, but I never thought of getting the series until now. So we talked about the cast, we talked about the future, like what could be lead up to this point. We talked about when it was first introduced and what it was going to be like in our mindset. Now it comes to the look at of the cast, like how they're going to be drawn. And when the first concept art hit, it was astonishing because it has this new life to it. Like, we saw the gang in an element of they're young and they're old. Because understand, this movie takes place in both time zones. It takes place when they're young, then it shows when they evolve into adults and how they lead off in their lives and how they form into the mystery group and how they meet and then how they become mystery solvers to the point where they save the world. And then we see the concept art of young Shaggy, Scooby, Daphne, Velma, Fred, and then we see them as adults, and then we get to hear their voice actors in the trailer, and it's like, in a way, most of it does work up. Like, we've seen 3 trailers already. We saw the trailer when they're young and when they're older and they're all joined together. Then we saw the trailer when they introduced Blue Falcon. Then we saw the finalised trailer of when they added more scenes in. So we saw Dick Dastardly, the main villain of the movie, where it was a really big touch. Because Wacky Racers was one of my most favourite shows as a kid. It just had that element of 1 hour long specials in my mind, where it was just racing, and it just had that comedy on point. And they rebooted it back in 2014. I did like the reboot. I think it was 2014. I can't remember the actual date when the reboot happened, but the animation was great for it. So to see Dick Dastardly as a villain, I can see it in my eyes. Like, he has that glare as a villain, but it's just great how they executed him and made him look really terrifying in this movie. Like, he just has a hunchback, he has that nice wiggly mustache. It's just like the greatest thing ever. So I can't wait to see the movie, to see where was this full team like. Are we going to see the entire Wacky Racers cast? Are we going to see glimpses of them? Are we going to see the entire Captain Caveman and the Teen Angels? Or is it just going to be Blue Falcon and Dee Dee? We just don't know until the movie drops. Like, I thought the trailer was going to release more, but it didn't release a lot more. It released some of Dick Dastardly, but didn't release too much. So the concept of it, the whole cast, like animation, it's superb. I love the way they look. They look fantastic. It's sort of like breathing new life into you. Like, you saw Scooby-Doo from a 2D element into a 3D element, and it's just like, when you look back at the Where Are You series, to think that Scooby-Doo began for a Saturday night cartoon to the point where it's just in every household nearly, and everyone just want to get their part of watching Scooby-Doo. It's beautiful in a way. Like, it doesn't matter how old you are, you can still like Scooby-Doo. People say you're never too old for Scooby-Doo. Like, people say, oh, you're too old for this. No, Scooby-Doo isn't. It's like a family film. That's what it is. It's a family show where you can sit down with your family and watch it and get good laughs. Because you look back at the old ones and think, God, I watched this as a kid. Now I'm watching these new ones, and it just brings everyone together. So yeah, I do see high potential for this movie. The cast, however, it depends, because it's the first time seeing them as these actors. So, not the actors, I meant like playing these roles, should I say. Because this is like, I've never thought in my lifetime I would see Zac Efron as Fred. I would never. It's just one of those weird things to get your head wrapped. And then seeing Mark Wahlberg as Blue Falcon, like in the final trailer, and in the Blue Falcon reveal trailer, he pulls it off. And sometimes I forget it's Mark Wahlberg's voice. It's just one of those things, you don't really see him as voice actors, you see him as actors on the screen. So it's just really hard to get my head around it in a sense. And the same with Zac Efron. Like, I've seen him, I don't hate the guy. Like, he has good movies, he has bad movies, like every other actor. But seeing him as a voice actor, it's just trying to picture him as Fred. And that's the frustrating part. I just can't. Every time I hear his voice, I'm thinking, I just want to listen to High School Musical right now. And that's, I don't know why. I don't know why. His 17 Again movie was great, and his High School Musical performance were on point, but it's just trying to get my head around. I'm not saying he's a bad voice actor for Fred. Like, I can get the voice on it, but it's just trying to think of him as Fred. That's the thing. I would love to see him in a Fred costume, but and then see it from that point of view. But it's just one of those things you've got to warp your mind round. I don't hate their choices for the cast. I just, in the same sense, why change the cast to begin with and only get one of them back to replace the role of Scooby? Which makes sense, because if they've got anyone else to do Scooby, I think the entire community would have kicked off. So playing Scooby is like, you really have to be, it's like handing over a torch in a sense. You have to give over the torch to be Scooby. Like, you just can't let anyone do it. It has to be perfect. Yeah, Scooby-Doo is the main mascot for the movie. Same with the rest of the cast. I don't understand why they changed them. And well, Matthew Lillard is an actor. Like, he used to act, and he still does as well. So I don't understand why they changed him. Like, even he was surprised they didn't ask him. Like, I could see him as a Shaggy in the movie, in the live action one, and see him voice Shaggy. It's just like, you know it was meant for him. Like, you just know he was born to be Shaggy. So see him not in the movie is really heartbreaking, because I would have thought they would have brought him back at least, which is a shame. But I'm not having go at Warner Bros. For doing that. But it's just like, it's something new that we have to get our mindset around. Like, we have this new cast sort of playing the gang, and it's just like, we have to walk around, because you got to understand, they got voice actors to play the kid version of them, then they got the voice actors to play the adult version of them, and it's just like, I really want to hear Matthew Lillard's voice. I'm not saying the Shaggy voice is awful. I like the Shaggy voice in the Scoob movie from the trailers I saw, but it's just like, I know it's not Matthew Lillard's voice, because I know that it's someone different. Scoob movie, it's a fantastic idea, to bringing it into the Hanna-Barbera cinematic universe, because it just brings up so many great ideas. We have so much to work with now. We will be seeing a lot more from the future if this hits off to a great start, and I think it will. I think with the community and how strong it's been so far, with the amount of support that it's been getting, I can see this being something big and massive. So yeah, props to them for a movie that they delayed time and time again. It was well worth the wait. Got to understand, when this was announced in 2014, we were all pitching our ideas on what it could be. Then it got delayed and pushed back. It was meant to come out in 2016, I believe, or 2017, but it got delayed, and then it got pushed back to a date of 2020, which was a great year, because it's the new decade, so it makes total sense doing it there. But it's just like, why are they delaying it for? And now after seeing the trailers, you can understand it was well worth delay. If anything, they should have released more trailers. They shouldn't keep it as 3 trailers. They should release more stuff for it. It was even on a Super Bowl ad, so that's how much hype it's getting. Like, everyone's talking about this one. And don't get me started on home media releases. Like, I really hope that it gets released on DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K. If it gets released on 4K, and I told us on Twitter, I will buy a 4K player, because I don't own a 4K player. I don't even own a Blu-ray player. I use my PS4 for a Blu-ray, because I still like things old school. So I have my VHS collection and my DVD set, and I'm more of a DVD guy. So the first thing I will buy is the DVD. But I would like to own the Blu-rays of certain stuff, because I do have a PS4. But there may be a time where we'll have to upgrade to a Blu-ray. But at the moment, there's no need for me to get a Blu-ray player. I don't own that much Blu-rays. And with Scooby-Doo, not a lot of it gets released on Blu-ray. We have a few selection, which I do have now, but majority of all of it is released on DVD. So this movie, I'm hoping that it gets a Blu-ray and a 4K release with nice slipcovers all round, and it's not just limited to certain regions. Because the thing that I hate is that when it gets released in the UK or Europe, because we're region 2, they don't put much effort in giving us a slipcover. Like, in North America now, you get the nice slipcover and makes it worthwhile buying. Like, it just makes it more displayable. But in the UK, we don't get the slipcover, and it's just really disappointing, where we have to pay the same price but we get a bit less. Other things as well I want to talk about as well with the Scoob movie is that I want to see Captain Caveman do his iconic Captain Caveman! I'm super pumped for you. If you see my reaction videos, you could see that I'm totally there for the movie. And just like already now with this video, like I just cannot wait. 2 months is gonna be amazing, and I do want to do a review on it. And it's just that it's so hard to do reviews because I only get 1 day off a week to do my videos. Like literally I work nearly every single day. I get 1 day off a week, and then in that time I have so much going on. Like I want to go out and like socialise. It's my main thing. Then I've got like an hour making videos, an hour editing videos, then I've got an hour of like playing one of my games, and then I'm at the gym. So yeah, I don't really get that much time to work on every one of the videos that I want to do, hence why this video is only getting a 1 part of the Let's Talk About and not a part 2.
So yeah, upon making this video, I've decided that I am going to be making a part 2 to cover more stuff on the cast and certain new features just been released via Twitter. So that information will all be part of the part 2 that I'm currently working on in the next couple of weeks. So it will be out at the end of April, but yeah, part 2 on the way.
I pretty much covered everything I want to talk about. We did the 2014 reveal, and then we saw how times fly when we saw like the development of it, the fact that it just came together perfectly. 6 years of waiting for this movie. 6 years. That's insane when you think about it. 6 years, God. And in a sense, people forgot about it for years. Like even I pulled up, I was thinking, I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think it is. So I just forgot about it. And then I saw the reveal trailer, not the reveal trailer. When I saw the release day get pushed back again, I thought, well, you know, but seeing it as 2020 date makes total sense. So yeah, that is my Let's Talk About video on the SCOOB. I do hope you guys have enjoyed. I know this video isn't one of my longest, and I don't want to keep it too boring, but I just want to really get this out there, like really much. Like I have so much hype for Hanna-Barbera right now. I want to see so much more from the other shows. It's getting people to buy more of the old stuff, like Captain Caveman and the Teen Angels to rewatch them. Like they're doing it so well, and the animation of every detail in each character, even Blue Falcon and Dee Dee's, is superb. So yeah, I wish them all the best luck, and I do hope that it does become a good success, and hopefully it gets a lot of good feedback from people on Rotten Tomato reviews and all that, because I really hope this movie does well, because it could set Scooby-Doo off in a different complete path, and it could be for greater, or if it's bad, it could be a total disaster. So I'm hoping that it's high up there, because I really want this to reach for the stars and actually go somewhere and actually terraform into other segments of what it could be. And in a way, it will make up for some of the worst sequels that we got. So it will make up for Return to Zombie Island and Curse of the 13th Ghost. So it will redeem itself and hopefully not suck. But yeah, I do hope you guys have enjoyed this video. It's been a long one. I've been holding off for a while. I wanted to make sure that I saw everything before I made my initial video, and it's brilliant. Don't get me wrong. I love what I've seen, what I saw, and the community as well. Like the strong feedback that it's receiving, it's beautiful, and I love every moment of it. And the fans, you guys, are making this happen, and I just cannot wait for it to evolve and to be something else. Just imagine 10 years from now, we'll look back at this moment like, this is where Scooby-Doo went big. This is that moment. And I can see it. I even know it's going to do well, because it's been delayed so many times. It's been delayed. It's a 6-year wait. They cannot screw up. So yeah, I am pumped. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure you support by liking it, sharing it, subscribe. And if you do subscribe and you are new to the channel, please turn on post notifications by ticking that bell. I post videos every week, mostly unboxing videos, but I am trying to move into other aspects of reviews. So see them, more to come. Also as well, I've got social media links in the description, so you can message me on my Twitter or Facebook if you have any questions or do want to discuss Scooby-Doo in general. Yeah, I'll see you next time, but until then, take care.